All right, everyone, welcome to this month's Q&A. First question from Ben. How to find reliable people so you can outsource the marketing to them? Well, Ben, that is a great question, as always. I'm not sure I would outsource my marketing. Maybe you would bring somebody in on like a consultant basis. Maybe that's a better way to do it, because when it comes to marketing, there's this thing called voice. And for me, that's a big struggle to let go of my voice, right? Because when there's a blog post that's happening or a Facebook post that's happening, it's very clear that it's in my voice. It's very clear that it's me. And if I were to just bring somebody on board and they're like, oh, what a beautiful and glorious day. Well, that's not me, right? And so you've got to be careful with stuff like that. I'm not sure that that's the kind of stuff that I would consider outsourcing to other people, right? So you want to bring somebody in maybe on a consultant basis, but make sure they understand your voice, who you are, or hire somebody. There's plenty of people out there looking for part-time work, right? It could be somebody who's had good experience in the world, but now they just need a part-time job. They're raising a family. They're just looking for side work. So it's out there, but it's not going to be as easy as like, okay, follow these 3 bullets and this is the right person to hire. There's a lot more that goes into it. There's got to be a connection. There's got to be an understanding of your brand. All those things are super important. All right, next question from Lynette. How do you grow your mailing list email? How do I keep them coming back for more if you shoot portraits? Well, you know, there's a lot of things you can do, Lynette. You can take a lot of my teachings that talk about weddings and engagements and bridal shows and start applying them to portraits and seniors. Give seniors a reason to come to your site and register for more information. So some things that are just popping into my head right now, why not building a mailing list tied towards building fashion ideas for senior shoots, or 5 ideas for senior shoots, and get them to sign up to get a free PDF to explain to them the ways that they can have better senior portraits. Just things like that will start them building. Obviously, run a Facebook campaign, drive them to your site, capture the name, give them 5 tips and tricks for better wardrobe, 5 tips and tricks for better hair and makeup, right? 5 ideas for better locations, and just keep them coming and building that momentum, and you'll be surprised. Just like your own little Pinterest board, except do it on your website and capture that name and share that PDF with them. So it'll work. Next question comes to us from Geneva. Networking with other vendors to market through them. How do you make the first contact? How do you sustain the relationship, and what do you ask of them? This is a really good question. And Geneva, if you're an Elite Plus member, sorry, shameless plug, but you can actually, we just did a webinar on building vendor relationships, and it's free for Elite Plus members. So please go to the website, check that out. But let's answer your question here real quick. How do you make first contact? Simple. Email, pick up the phone. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Just be persistent. That's probably the most obvious. You're going to reach out to a lot of people, but you have to realize they have a lot of people reaching out to them. And so you're one of a million photographers reaching out to them. Be persistent, okay? Now, once you reach out to them, get together for coffee, get together for lunch, and pay it, right? Pick up the check. Build that relationship before you ask them for anything, okay? That's the key there. And instead, tell them what you can do for them. Don't ask them for anything. Now, what I'm typically asking for, if you will, by the time we get to it, is, hey, look, I'm going to give you free pictures. I'm going to help you guys build your brand, your portfolio. All I'm looking for in return is for you guys to hand out my marketing material, or let me hang some pictures in your sales room. And usually they're very happy to do that. But just keep in mind, it takes years of knocking on doors and getting your name out there. You can't just show up and be like, hey, I'm Geneva. I want to work with you guys. No, everybody wants to work with them. All right, next question comes to us from Mike. Making the first contact and getting to a meeting, that is tripping me up. Sure. Look, making contact, whether we're talking about with vendors or we're talking about with clients, is always difficult, and getting to that meeting also equally is challenging. But once you get to that meeting, that's where you're selling yourself. And so what you got to do is analyze why you're not getting to the meeting every single time. Why are they saying no? Why are they not responding to you? And then adapt your approach after that. And that's something you've got to do continuously. Even to this day, we do this. We're constantly taking a look at, okay, what's going wrong here? Why are we not getting to meetings? Why are we not getting responses from people? And what do we need to do better? Go into the next meeting, make a new mistake. Come out of that, analyze it again. Next meeting, make a new mistake. And eventually, you'll stop making mistakes. So there is no silver bullet here. It's the biggest mistake I see people make is they just think, hey, I'm going to try it once. That didn't work. Well, you can't do anything just once. And then if it doesn't work, just give up, throw your hands in the air. You got to be persistent and keep going after it. All right, I apologize if I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I believe it's Ilzy. Conquering Snapchat would be great. It seems like there is a never-ending teen migration through social networks. How to catch up. Ilzy, I'm telling you, I've tried Snapchat. I can't figure out how to make it work for my business. And I've got a bunch of, millennials here that have shown me how to do it. And it just doesn't make any sense for me as a business. There are lots of businesses out there that are doing it, but if you're not consistent and relentless in your pursuit of Snapchat, nobody's going to do it. And I got news for you. Like, I don't want to be standing here right now and grab my phone and being like, I'm on set, I'm super cool, like, and Snapchat that. It doesn't make any sense for me and my business. That doesn't mean it doesn't make sense for you, and it doesn't mean it doesn't make sense for your clients, especially with teens. And so what I have found is that if my teens are on a photo shoot and I see them Snapchatting, I just engage with Snapchat. So I'll grab their phone and do the Snapchat that way. This way, instead of trying to convince a 16 or 17-year-old to follow me on Snapchat, which can be kind of weird, right? What I'm doing is I'm using their network and pushing out that way. So that's actually been kind of working. Obviously, we're in February, so as we go into this summer, we'll do more of that, and I'll report back. Next question comes to us from Cody. How are you converting brides to booking at bridal shows? Hey, Cody, I'll tell you, we just did a bridal show, and we had both Studio C, Salvatore Sincata there. I booked 3 brides at the show, and Studio C booked 1. And so at the show. And what I'm realizing is that we definitely have a gift for closing business. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I mean that. It is really tough to close business there. What I realize is that at the bridal shows, what I'm not trying to do is close business on my price list. I'm not trying to close business on albums. What I'm closing on is me. And so that's the key takeaway there. And what do I mean by that? I'm closing on me because what I'm doing is I'm saying to the bride and groom, hey, look, once you know you want to work with us and have a good time, obviously you love our pictures. Once you want to work with us, your photographer can make or break your day. Once you know you want to work with us, lock in your date, and we can always figure out what package you're going to be in later. And that has been the biggest, easiest way for me to close business at the show. And that's what I suggest you adapt. And of course, we've got show specials and discounts we run, like we do a 10% off if you book at the show and get free, this or that if you book at the show. But those are the kind of things you've got to, figure out, add to your business, and you'll start closing that business at the show. And it's much easier when you're doing it that way. Next question comes to us from Stephanie. How to get more post-sales from guests after a wedding via online gallery. We do all in-person sales, as do we. But for guests, we use ShootProof, as do we. We love it, as do we. What's a good strategy? What to offer? Coupon code? Do other photographers get a lot of sales from guests? Thanks so much. As a rule of thumb, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of sales from guests. For me, here's why. My clients get their digital negatives. So the big sale happens when they're in here and they're buying their big prints and their albums and their upgrades. But getting them to a point where I'm going to get guests to spend $50 on an 8x10 or $40 on an 8x10, it's probably not going to happen, especially when the client has the digital negatives. Now, if you just want ancillary income coming in, you can lower your print prices down to 10 or $15 for a 48-hour window. But the truth is, if I had 10 people come in and order 8x10s for $10, that's $100, right? I now have to have my staff ship out 10 boxes. So they got to sit here, they got to package it, they got to order it, they got to wrap it and ship it out. I'm not really making any money. So at that point, I would rather not even have the $100. I'd rather make the money on the in-person sale. So keep that in mind. The typical post-sale for us is maybe $100, $200 after they order through the ShootProof site. Most of those sales are happening right here in our studio. Next question comes to us from Kim. When you are new to an area, should you drop your prices to build up clientele? Sketchy. What are some ways to market besides paying Facebook? Nothing wrong with paying Facebook, but if you lower your prices, you're going into the market and you're attracting the wrong client right out of the gate. And bad clients refer more bad clients typically. So I don't think that's the way I would do it. I'd go right into the market and go right at the price point you want to be at, but maybe you're offering a new client 50% off sale, right? So you're going after the market you want to, but you're running a special discount really to establish value and not go in at this low price and try and come back up. So you're in there at the high price, but hey, we're running a sale. It's a 48-hour sale or something to that effect. Next question comes to us from Sarah. Do you have a checklist to follow for IPS with troubleshooting ideas? Like if a client says, we don't need anything bigger than, where do you go from there to upsell? Wow, Sari, great question. So I call it the objection list. And yes, we do. And there's not enough time to cover it all here. That might be the topic of a future webinar that we do, how to deal with objections. But here's how that list of objections came to be. Well, we've been doing this for 9 years now. And so after 9 years, you can imagine you've heard almost every objection you can possibly imagine. That's the key. So when you hear that objection and they leave the room and they didn't spend anything, you go, huh, we said the wrong thing there. What should we have said? And you come up with the answer you should have said. Well, the next time that objection comes up, boom, you're rapid fire. You know, well, we don't really need anything bigger than an 8x10. Oh, awesome. Well, here's a sheet of paper, and you grab that sheet of paper and you go, here, let's put it on the wall behind me. And then they look at that on the wall and you go, they go, oh yeah, that looks ridiculous. Absolutely. So really, most families are going to put a 20 by 30 or larger on their wall. Guys, your TV is bigger than an 8 by 10, for crying out loud. Those are the kind of conversations you get very good at coming back with. So try putting your own objection list together. And after every meeting where you have zero sale or not a good sale, ask yourself, what could we have done better? And keep building that list. That's how we built ours. Last question comes to us from April. How to make your website stand out with a great call to action to book more brides and seniors. Well, April, we don't book business right off our website. So I let the imagery be the call to action, right? I don't want to have those banners on my site where it's like, book now and save big, you know, like that's not what we're doing. We're not a retail store. You're not a retail store. What I'm trying to do is drive to a meeting, especially for brides. I want to get to that meeting because any of my prices online are going to just scare them away, right? My base package is damn near $5,000. That's going to scare the average bride away. I want to get to the meeting so I can show them what we're all about. That's what should be your goal. So we're not really this power call to action. If you want to do that, you're going to do things like Groupon, which, by the way, highly suggest you don't. So you're not looking for the big call to action. What you're looking to do is get them to contact you. That's what you're looking to do. So great images are going to drive that. And then, of course, easy way to contact you is going to be the next thing on your site, right? Make it easy for them to get in touch with you. So as always, great questions, right? February, sales and marketing month. Get out there, put some of this stuff into practice. And I promise you, you can make these changes to your business and see the results you're looking for this year. It is not too late. So get out there and make those changes happen.